Hello Aquarius and welcome to your July 2026 monthly horoscope. My name is Justina. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Alright, so today we are going to look at the most, or at least some of the most important events happening in the month of July, and I'll tell you how they may influence your life on a deeper level. Here I follow Western astrology tropical zodiac, and these horoscopes are most accurate for your rising sign, also called the ascendant sign. However, you can also watch them for your moon sign or your sun sign if you wish, just to get a bigger picture and a wider perspective upon your life. All right, so we start with Neptune turning retrograde. And just let me remind you that Jupiter is already in Leo at this point. Chiron is in Taurus. Mercury is retrograde until the 23rd of July. So it's a really, really busy month with lots of fresh energies that would have been already initiated at the end of June, but there was no chance to really experience them. And here, as we start this brand new month, we've got something really special here. And of course, Mercury is still retrograde, so try to avoid signing any contracts if you can until 23rd. Jupiter is in Leo as of the 30th of June, so that's of course your 7th house, which is great for building connections. For generally, this is an interesting one because this could see you traveling more with someone close to your heart, foreign trips, mutual plans. Some influential people or aligned connections entering your reality. But here with Neptune. So Neptune will turn retrograde on the 7th of July at 4 degrees. At 4 degrees of Aries, this is happening in your 3rd house. Later in the month, Saturn will join Neptune, also turn retrograde. So Neptune will turn retrograde in the area of communication, your thinking processes, your mindset, anything to do with your immediate environment, your relationship with your siblings, with your neighbors. It's all about the mundane reality, your intellect, your confidence in yourself, in what you know. And Neptune, generally during the direct motion, can bring a little bit of confusing, idealizing energy. I think I already told you last time that that's my natal placement. So it can bring a lot of daydreaming as well. And it's a good transit for storytelling as well. But here when Neptune turns retrograde, and actually I was born with Neptune retrograde, if I remember well. So Neptune here can make you see things from a different angle. So any idealized goals or dreams, or perhaps if you've built some connections in your immediate environment that were built on some unrealistic expectations, for example, then during the duration of this retrograde, this could be like a wake-up call. You might take those red rose-tinted sunglasses off, if you will. And this is a time when generally you might see things from a slightly different angle. This could be connected to your communication style shifting, some connections within your immediate environment might shift under the influence of this energy. This could see you reviewing, reevaluating certain major communication or intellectual projects, for example. Maybe if you've been involved in some community work, you might realize that things are not as you thought they would be, and this could also make you review, reassess your commitments and your involvement. Now, this energy could also prompt you to reassess your relationships with your siblings or with people from your community, for example. So you might have this really strong need for like an honest review, reassessment. Anything that felt confusing in these initial months of 2026 might suddenly feel less confusing. Now, bear in mind that it's the experience of Neptune here in the 3rd house in your chart is slightly different because Saturn is here as well, and Saturn is also influencing your communication style and your sense of discipline in terms of your commitments and your projects, for example. So Saturn, of course, is helping you with structure, while Neptune is bringing more creative energy, but at the same time, sometimes it could create some unrealistic expectations or idealized goals or relationships, for example, as well. that could that you might see differently during the retrograde phase. This month also, later in the month, Saturn also stations retrograde, so we'll explore it in a moment. But here on July the 9th, Venus enters Virgo, your 8th house. Venus rules over your 4th and 9th house. So say in the 8th house, this could be a pretty fruitful time financially speaking, because Venus is the planet connected to finances and to balance and harmony. So sometimes with Venus in the 8th house, first of all, this energy could also influence your intimate life. It could make you crave connection with another on a deeper level. So it's a really positive energy for relationships. So watch out for any obsessive, compulsive behavioral patterns in relationships, because this could also be the case with Venus. If you fall in love with someone during Venus in the 8th house transit, it could be very, very, very deep and intense. But once this transit is over, if you have nothing in the 8th house, then you might feel slightly differently. Also bear in mind Mercury is retrograde, so take it easy, but at the same time, it's a very loving energy that has a positive impact upon your relationships and partnerships. But also Venus in the 8th house could bring some financial rewards or gains that come through, not through your income, but maybe through some bonuses, through other people, through some opportunities that come through others. Now, the 8th house is also the second from the 7th, so this could also indicate that perhaps your partner might go through some positive financial experiences throughout this time. But here, this is also a good time for finding more balance and harmony in your in your financial area of life. So a good time for reviewing your credit card statements, your outgoings, your debts. Now, on the 13th of July, Venus connects with Uranus by a square. So that's your 8th house influence and also your 5th house. So 5th house and the 8th house influence. So here, Uranus is your modern ruler as well, so you might feel it more intensely as well. So that's your 8th house that's influenced, especially this energy could bring some disruptions, surprises, unexpected turn of events, for example, connected to the area of shared and joint resources, finances, partnerships. And here, this disruption, you might feel it more personally, of course, because Uranus is your ruler. But at the same time, this energy could bring some shifts in the area of creative projects or in your romantic situation, for example, as well. So watch out what surfaces around this time, because it's also on the same day we have the Sun and Mercury retrograde kazimi conjunction. And this is happening on the 13th of July at 20 degrees of Cancer in your 6th house. So here with the kazimis, when Mercury is in the heart of the Sun, this usually indicates a time of some interesting realizations, thoughts, ideas coming through our minds. This is connected to your work, health, everyday routine. Now, Mercury is retrograde at this time, so this could be about something returning from the past, an idea, a prospect, an opportunity. Maybe you will be reviewing, reassessing your lifestyle, your work situation during this time, or a health-related matter. So whatever it is, this kazimi could bring the much-needed clarity, especially if you're dealing with something that is brand new. It's something that is returning, a matter that is returning from the past. Now, the day after the Mercury retrograde kazimi and Venus and Uranus square, there is a new moon happening at 21 degrees of Cancer. And this is happening on July the 14th. So, of course, new moons are connected to new beginnings and intentions and new chapters, but Mercury's retrograde tightly conjuncts this new moon. So here again, this new moon is about reviewing, reassessing, and dealing with an aspect of life connected to your routine, to your lifestyle, to your health, that is returning from the past. That is something to do with something that was unfinished, basically. It's not about starting something fresh. So it's a good time for giving something another chance, for reviewing your health habits, your dietary habits, your routine, see what's sustainable in your daily life, what isn't, with your work environment as well. This is a time for setting intentions that can help you to improve your reality, your daily life, but you are working with what you have already established. Okay, so that's something essential to keep in mind. And on July the 23rd, you might see the first fruits of your hard efforts that took place around mid-July, because this is when Mercury turns direct at 16 degrees of Cancer on July the 23rd. So anything that felt on hold or anything that was moving at a slower pace now finally begins to move forward. It starts to gain a momentum. So things that perhaps felt unclear, connected to a work-related matter, connected to anything to do with your health, with your routine, with your lifestyle, finally start to move forward, suddenly starting to make more sense. So definitely pay attention to what comes up, what shows up around the 13th, 14th of July, because the energies of the middle of the month could generally take a new shape and form or begin to move forward around the 23rd and onwards. On July the 26th, Saturn turns retrograde. Saturn turns retrograde here at 14 degrees of Aries. So here, this is where also Neptune is retrograde at this time. Saturn is your traditional ruler. Uranus is your modern ruler. So it will also affect you to a certain extent. You are going through so many shifts, Aquarius, and this is just the beginning. Of course, you are in the new cycle of eclipses. So the nodes are moving as well to your first and the seventh house, and Saturn retrograde here at 14 degrees. So think about, because this is happening in your area of communication, your local environment, your community, the mundane reality overall. So this is a time, the second part of the year is partially focused on reviewing the structures you have built in your life in those initial 6 months of 2026, since Saturn and Neptune entered your third house. So you are reviewing certain commitments, certain projects, for example, and anything brand new, especially in connection to communication, to any intellectual projects, your community involvement will require more effort, because these energies want you to focus on what you have built so far since Saturn and Neptune entered your area of communication. So think about any intellectual projects you're involved in. Think about any community groups or projects. So here, think about any of these that you may have joined and how they have transformed your life so far. Maybe this is connected to your involvement in your community. Maybe your communication style is changing. This could be also connected to social media, working with social media, building a website, whatever it is. Retrogrades are really important for stabilizing whatever we have built. And then when the planet turns direct, we move forward, we start new things, we work with new ideas, projects, and goals. On July the 26th, we've got, which is the same day basically, which here, the North Node enters Aquarius, the South Node enters Leo. So that's the first and the seventh house axis activation, a major 18-month cycle for you. A huge cycle that is going to activate your first and your seventh house. The North Node will be in Aquarius, your first house, and the South Node will be in Leo. So you've got Pluto currently retrograde in your first house and Jupiter in your seventh house. So Jupiter here will be where the South Node will be. This is a cycle when you'll be reinventing yourself. A big cycle to move away from what doesn't serve you. This is when a new version of you is being born. So it could be related to a brand new, your life taking the new direction, your style changing, your physical appearance, your hairstyle, and your priorities. But at the same time, this is also when your relationships are shifting. Very often, people who are single find love during those eclipse cycles in the first and the seventh house. Their status change. If you are in a relationship, you might get married, engaged. Now, relationships that were built on a rocky foundation that have been struggling for years, and this could be it. I've also seen this happen with relationships breaking down, especially those that were not meant to, with people who were not meant to be together. And this could be at the final, like a cherry on the top. But at the same time, with the South Node and Jupiter in the 7th house, this could be also a time of attracting those karmic connections. Your approach to love and relationships is changing and shifting. And your needs and desires. Maybe if you felt like you undervalued yourself, you fell into like codependency patterns too much in the past. And now in this cycles, you might say enough is enough. Your approach to relationships, to your desires, to your values is also going to shift. I absolutely love the nodal axis shifts because they bring opportunities for improvement, for improving our life, for reaching new goals, new milestones. I think it's a great opportunity, especially since the eclipses will be further illuminating these areas of life. We've got a solar eclipse in Leo happening on 12th of August in your 7th house. So this could be the beginning of a brand new relationship, contract, partnership. And it's a really, really powerful one. So then on July 27th, we've got a Sun and Pluto opposition. This is one of the difficult transits of the month involving Pluto. Oppositions are often connected to other people and trying to dominate, trying to make us feel weak, vulnerable, power struggles. So watch out for any power struggle, power dynamics here on 27th. Anything of also that has been kind of brushed under the carpet might resurface around this time. So you may also have to face something that perhaps you've been avoiding. It's a day of confrontations, possibly. So it's about being honest, transparent. It's not about taking shortcuts or just not even lying, but it's basically, it's about saying things as they are. This is a day to be authentic and honest about what you desire, about what your needs are. This is where clarity will emerge, especially since on July the 29th, there's a full moon in Aquarius happening at 6 degrees of Aquarius, and that's your 1st house. So something here is coming to light. Something needs to be addressed, especially since the solar point is in the 7th house, the full moon conjunct Pluto retrograde in the 1st house. The Sun and Pluto conjunction is in the 7th house on this day as well. Have a look if you have any placements at 6 degrees, because this could be a very significant full moon for you. So we've got expansive energy on the one hand in the area of relationships, relationships, partnerships, that is pulling you towards authenticity, towards honesty as well. But with the full honesty, it's a very abundant energy, and it could, of course, manifest differently for other people. Here at this point, Chiron is in your 4th house, squaring gently separating square here, but also separating square with the Sun as well here, and the full moon overall. Sometimes with Chiron's involvement, any unhealed wounds, unprocessed emotions might resurface around this time, giving you a chance for healing. But the Sun and Jupiter conjunction in Leo in your 7th house, this could be a day of some interesting outcomes that may come through others, that may come through relationships. But here, this is a full moon to look within. This is a full moon when you might be contemplating an important decision regarding your personal life, your personal direction. But here, this is a full moon, so this also relates to the other person, your significant other, someone is significant in your life. Perhaps a personal situation you've been dealing with is now reaching a turning point. Its peak needs to be addressed. We'll look at it further and deeper closer to the day. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Have a wonderful month, and until the next time, bye for now.